Now, a few minutes ago, I had a phone call with a new friend called Eric, and Eric is a beekeeper, and I spoke to him last week, and I said, well, we'd really like to have bees here, but I don't feel ready to learn all about beekeeping yet. And did he know anybody who wanted to put a beehive on our land and for them to tend it, and us just to provide the accommodation? Well, the answer to that would be yes. He spoke to me just a few minutes ago to tell me at the weekend there will be a beehive arriving to live on our homestead, and we will have bees here. Yes! So I'm hoping to put the beehive way down the back there, where it will be undisturbed, and although the chickens may tootle around it, I don't suppose that they will do any harm at all. Hello, Elvis. Now, because I knew that sooner or later we would have bees on our homestead, and also because my next door neighbour got a hive of bees last year, I've been planting lots of plants that will provide nectar for bees. I've also been not cutting down plants that I might have cut otherwise, but I've learnt that they're good for bees at various different times of the year. This huge ivy plant, which scrambles up through the elderberry there, well, in some ways it would not be a bad thing to get rid of it. And then my neighbour told me that this is one of the best sources of nectar for bees going into the winter. In a very late autumn, when it's in flower, the bees can access some nectar just at the time where everything else is getting a bit thin on the ground. So I've left this. I've also left the one that's scrambling up over the shed there and up into the holly tree for the same reason. And we've got masses of lavender, like this enormous plant here. This is almost 6 feet across, and it's 4 or 5 feet high. And this lavender hedge was a few scrawny plants when we moved in, and I cut them back carefully, and I've watered them and fed them, and that's looking great. And I've also, ignore the baths, the baths I've got for the ducks, but I've also been planting buddleia bushes, and this one just about to come into flower, so another couple of weeks and that will be in flower. And there's another one at the far end there that I transplanted and hasn't done very well, but it has survived the transplant, and it's started regrowing, and it just needs to be, I think it needs to be watered some more. But it did die back because it got terribly dry not long after I transplanted it. But this is new growth. There's lots of new growth on it, so that should eventually, well, fill that whole space there, and provide lots of nectar, not only for bees but for butterflies. I've got masses of self-sown borage, which I know the bees love, and I haven't lifted them, and despite the fact that there's probably far too many of them there, I'm going to leave them there because they'll be great for the bees when they flower. And here in what was going to be my perennial border but became my weed border, there are still, look at this, lots of things that the bees are going to love. And by next week we could have bees that live here visiting these beautiful hollyhocks. Oh, there's bees from next door and further afield already visiting them. Oh, that's a pretty white one, look at that. Creamy white. And obviously vegetable plants that flower, like the runner beans behind me, well, they'll provide nectar for the bees too. Can you tell I'm excited? I am so excited about having bees here. And And today I've just noticed, look at that, look at that. So this is the globe artichoke, and the big artichoke in the centre is flowering. It's huge and it's beautiful. What a fantastic colour. And if the bees don't like any of those flowers that are on offer, I'm sure they'll like the clover. And we have tons of clover. We have masses of it. The chicken field is awash with clover. It's white back there with all the clover flowers. So hopefully we'll have some really happy bees. So all in all, it's been a pretty good day. And wherever you are and whatever you've been doing today, I hope it's been a good one for you as well. And I also hope that you can join me again tomorrow.